Hey, welcome to What's Up Wednesdays with Renee Weaver-Wright. We're very glad to have you joining us today here at My Virtual Academy. I wanted to share a little bit more with you today about our history. I think I mentioned to you that back in the 60s, my father started working at Pontiac Business Institute. But actually, Pontiac Business Institute was started in 1896 in Detroit and then branched out into Pontiac. And this typewriter here is from 1913. And this was the kind of typewriter that was used at the Business Institute back in the early 1900s for students. You can see it's the same. It's the QWERT, the QWERTY keyboard, just like we have still today. But there's a ribbon on it that the keys would hit to make an imprint on the piece of paper. There's no backspace key. Here's a space bar, so the key would move over. Here's the thing that you would turn to get the paper going down in it. But from 1913, this piece of equipment is from then. What a long way we have come since that time. And our guest today is Tina Gerlish, who is one of our technical assistants. And Tina has been with us for about 12 years. Mm-hmm. And in that 12 years, Tina, we've kind of had quite an evolution, maybe not quite like with this typewriter, but now to get us to the part of life where we have a laptop that we use for our students and for typing and for all of those different kinds of things. So can you tell me just a little bit, Tina, about what your job is here at My Virtual Academy?
I work with more of the shipping of your equipment, making sure the software and everything is correct on it when it goes out. We set up your internet accounts for students that need it. We handle some of the tech support issues down in my department. So if the student's having an issue with their computer or tablet, they call in and we try to troubleshoot and work through the issues with the students to make them successful in the program.
Now, so you've been with us 12 years, and during that time we did tutoring all across the country where we shipped equipment to students, and in the last couple of years we've been working here in Michigan with students that are attending My Virtual Academy or our Step Up program, but mostly using our equipment. Over that time, how many pieces of equipment do you think you have shipped out?
Probably around 75,000.
Wow, 75,000 pieces of equipment. That's amazing to think that much equipment has passed through your hands, and that many UPS labels and address corrections and all of those different kinds of things through the years. So when you first started with us and we were doing the tutoring, what kind of equipment were we sending out? Could you talk a little bit about that?
We sent out towers and big CRT monitors, which is like the older school, like box TV is kind of what the monitors look like.
Okay.
So they're about 30 pounds a piece, and we'd have to send them in two big, huge boxes and have UPS deliver them.
Yes, and I remember too that a lot of times that was the very first computer in the student's home, and that was before cell phones were doing what cell phones can do now. And I remember even one time we had a parent tell us that they weren't going to have the kids open the computer until after Christmas, because that was kind of their Christmas present, was to have that, because it was so exciting to have a computer in their home. So now what kind of equipment do we send out?
We do laptops like the one you see on the table. We do tablets for other parts of our company.
Okay. So 30 pounds we were sending out to something you can hold in your hand.
Right, down to 2.
Yeah, down to 2 pounds. That's just amazing. We also have provided internet for our students through the years. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like in the beginning and what it's evolved to now?
Yeah, we used to do dial-up internet, which was you had to have a landline house phone.
Oh.
So if you didn't, we couldn't do internet for you.
Okay.
So, and with us being, we were in 40-some states, we would have to make sure which companies the phone company was through, because some of them were cable lines, some of them were analog lines, and it had to be analog for the dial-up to be able to work, and we used to have to send little modems to hook into the computers for the phone line so it could do the dial-up. We've changed from that to then we went to high speed that you had to be wired in, and now we're up to the wonderful world of wireless.
Good. It's really gotten a lot easier for our students, hasn't it, in terms of when we ship the equipment to them, they're able to just get right started with it and get right into the program. And I think part of that is because the technology's evolved so much, and people are more used to technology too, aren't they? I remember one time we shipped equipment to people, and they asked us how to make the printer work, and we hadn't sent them a printer at all, right?
Yeah.
People just are so much more knowledgeable now and so much more comfortable with the technology that we send out to them. So, what is? Do you have a success story about one of our students that you helped with?
Well, we have some kids that will come in with variations of different issues, but one that we really liked was she had some vision issues because she had epilepsy. So we found a program, it was called Flux, to install on her computer to kind of change the backgrounds and the colors on the screen, because our software would be colorful and have different videos and stuff playing.
And that would trigger her, wouldn't it?
Right, so we had to change it to more like the grays and black hues to where it wouldn't show that. But she's a graduate now. She made it through. So it's good.
So even though you're in the technical end of things, you're helping our students just as much as a teacher or advocate, really, just in a little bit different way. Just a little bit different way. So, what advice would you give to a student when they get their equipment? What would you say to them? Besides, get on it right now and start working, or call us if you have any trouble, because we do have a help desk for students that are having tech issues, right? And how does that kind of work? The tech support?
They will call in, and sometimes they'll get straight through to where they can talk to us. Sometimes, because we're in a separate building, they'll email it to us and we'll call them back. But it goes usually pretty smooth. They tell us what's wrong. What some kids don't understand is that we can physically look at their computer screen. So when that first happens, some of the kids are kind of like, oh, you can see what I'm doing? Yep, we can see everything you're doing. So instead of them trying to explain it to us verbally, we can visually see and say, okay, you go to this point of where you're having an issue, and we can help you from there. So that way we can physically see what they're seeing at the same time. So it works a lot better than before when we're trying to see it in our head. To see what they're doing. So it works. Technology has came a long way to where the things that we can do now versus what we could do then. Right.
And we really are finding there's so few issues anymore that the students have. And, and our staff is better, our teachers and our advocates are better helping the kids with those issues too, because they're better trained and more knowledgeable and that sort of thing. So, well, Tina, really appreciate the literally thousands of computers, tens of thousands of computers you sent out over the years, and all those UPS labels and return calls and tech calls and all of that to help our students succeed. So, and I just have to think, I'm going to move this over a little bit. So we've got, that's from 1913, 105 years ago, and here's 2018. What's it going to be like? What's going to be on the desk 2118? What's going to be right here for our students. So we're very happy to have you again with us on What's Up Wednesday. And if you have more questions or interest in My Virtual Academy, please click on the link below, and we'll be happy to help you answer any questions you may have, help you fill out an application, help you get started in our school and our process, so Tina can send you out the equipment that you need to get started in the program. So we'd love to have you as an MVA student. So thanks for joining us, and next Wednesday we are going to be talking about acorns. So we will see you next Wednesday. Thank you.